Hello, so today's video is on self-esteem, and with that comes confidence and assertiveness. Please like and subscribe my videos. I put out new ones every Saturday or Sunday. So yes, today's video is on self-esteem. I think what comes in with that as well is confidence and assertiveness, because I think if you have good self-esteem, with that you tend to be quite confident in what you're saying because you believe in it, and with that you don't let anyone kind of mess you around, and you're quite assertive with your thoughts and feelings. So if you're confident in what you're saying, you've got your high self-esteem, you're assertive to say, no, I don't agree with that, or yes, I do agree with that, or we should do this, we should do that. So it's kind of all mixed into one for you. So first of all, I will say that self-esteem is a measure of ourselves. So you will hear self-esteem a lot. It's about how we measure ourselves. So do we think we have high self-esteem or low self-esteem? And is our self-esteem based on ourselves, or is it based on others? So I think I am well aware that my self-esteem for me is based on other people's opinions. So if other people say to me, you're doing a really good job, or well done, and kind of give you a boost, I take a lot more satisfaction from that than I do if I said it to myself. And that is not healthy, and I'm aware of that, and I'm working on that. And it's about figuring out for yourself, which you've either thought about or you haven't, and it's a good thing to think about, definitely, so you can alter it if you need to, is do I have a high self-esteem level? Do I not? Do I feel comfortable with everything I think and feel? Do I have full support of my own actions or not? And then from that, do I get the self-esteem from myself and my own opinions or others, and working on it from there. Self-esteem, like I said, it's the measure of yourself, and it's being comfortable with your values, your abilities, everything that is you, the makeup of you, everything you do, you think, you feel. Are you happy with it? Are you proud of it? Are you confident in it? Are you assertive with it? And it can go up and down. So for example, like I said, with me thinking, if other people give me a compliment and say I'm doing really good at something, my self-esteem will go up. But if they don't say anything, or they say a negative thing, then it will go down. And then that's quite unhealthy, because my feelings shouldn't be based on other people's opinions, it should be based on myself. So if it's based on myself and I did something wrong, I could say, right, I did it wrong, but I know why. I'm still got my good self-esteem level because I'm confident with why I did this, why I did that, and why it went wrong. So kind of measuring how you're thinking and feeling depends on what has happened, if that makes sense. Sorry if I keep looking down, I am reading it because this is quite a self-esteem has different layers to it from different thoughts processes, so I want to get it right and make sure I'm saying it right so it's not confusing what I'm saying. When your self-esteem goes higher or lower, where your self-esteem comes from, it's based on different levels of your thought process. So you've got different levels. So your first one is what we call negative automatic thoughts, or NATs, as you would have heard if you've ever done psychology. So from that, you automatically think, for example, your boss says to you, well done, or your boss says to you, that was bad. You automatically think a thought. You can't even think about the thought, it just happens. It's automatically there. First thing that pops to your head, positive or negative, is there. You cannot help it. It's very hard to change. So that's the first level that happens. The next level you've got is a negative belief. So that's something that is it's what you call different layers. So the negative belief is something that is where if you change that, your negative automatic thoughts would change. So your beliefs. So do you think you're good at stuff? Do you think you have abilities? Do you think you're a nice person? The different thoughts that you have. So if that was, I think I'm a nice person, but everyone's telling you you're not, then that might be a point where your belief will change because everyone's saying opposite to it. So your belief is stronger than your automatic thought, but your automatic thought comes from the belief. And the next deeper level from that is the negative assumptions. So you just assume this, it's what happens, it's what's right, and from that, your belief and your automatic thoughts. So if you think of it down in layers. So how do people measure their self-esteem? For me personally, it's if I'm doing good or bad in my career, or if I'm doing good and bad with my emotions, if that makes sense. If I'm happy, and then that kind of reflects of other different things in my life. So different things that people measure themselves on can be their physical abilities. So athletes, or just people that go to the gym. So if they don't go to the gym, they don't do well, they don't do 2 hours, 3 hours. being a good friend, or being a good family member, or being a good sister, a good brother, a good mother, and measuring on that. So how you are in relationships is how you measure yourself. So if you are hanging out with your best friend and like, God, you know, I'm so comfortable with you, you may get a really good boost from that and thinking, I am a really good friend and I know that, and that's your measure. Being loyal also comes with that, and being loved. So if you are in a really committed relationship, your self-esteem can be through the roof because you know, I'm lovable and I'm a good partner. And then the next one is property. So a lot of people, I think a lot more now with like Instagram and stuff, you see these rich kids off different cities and stuff, is the measure if they have a Rolex or a Ferrari or lots of money in their wallet, then they have a good self-esteem level. So based on the property exams, and like I said, for me, work, so feeling that I've passed my exam, say if you got A stars across all your exams, you're really happy, but say you got a B, that can bring that A star student down. Their self-esteem can drop significantly because to them A star is the bare minimum. A is the bare minimum that they can accept, so anything lower can really hurt. And even though they may know I gave it everything, then that's like, oh, maybe I'm not an A star student. That can kind of have different effects. And the last one is the approval of others. So again, this is what I was saying about where if other people approve of you and approve of your work and approve of your personality and approve of what you're doing, you're like, okay, other people can see it, so I must be good. But it should be definitely what you think yourself, and that's something we should all, I believe, aim to achieve, is being proud of ourselves for what we've achieved and not caring what other people think. So another part of low self-esteem, which you probably may not have heard of, is our personal fault finder, which is PFF. So everyone has a PFF, and it is something that if you have low self-esteem, it is full. It's full to the brim of stuff. So it's basically what it says on the tin. So your fault finder is something that will always find something wrong in a situation or a thought or a behaviour. So if you have low self-esteem, you will think, well, that's because I did that, or I didn't do this, or I should have done that, or I could have changed this and it was my fault that that happened. So it's changeable, and that is what you have to work towards changing, is from your mentality is that wasn't really my fault, I did everything I could, and working through that. Like I said, this comes from your different thought processes, because there are different thinking patterns that can affect our self-esteem. So the way we think, because it's different, so the way we think because of our self-esteem, positive or negative, affects our self-esteem. So until we've changed them, then our self-esteem levels can go up or down. So I will just read through them really quickly. I will try not to look down, I'm really sorry. So different distorted thinking patterns. So there's blaming. So blaming everyone else. So you could say it's people appear to have self-esteem that high because nothing's their fault. But then I think that's quite a negative one. It's the thing that nothing is your fault. Stuff is your fault sometimes it's not, but it's knowing exactly what's right. So this part of blaming is blaming everyone else for everything that goes wrong. Nothing is your fault, and I don't think that's appropriate. There's also personalisation, so everything is reaction from me, so everything's my fault. So they're reacting that way because of what I said, this happened because of what I did, and that's again just as negative as blaming everyone else, because it's not having a positive effect on yourself. So there's also catastrophic thinking, so everything is going to go wrong. Whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you try and do, it's just going to go wrong. There's no positive outcome. Even if you worked out 20 times a day, you are not going to be skinny, because there's just no point, because I'm not that good of a person. So everything is just going to go wrong. There's also polarization, so everything, it's one or the other, or it's completely positive or it's completely negative. There's just no kind of balance and in between. There's selective thinking or a filtered thinking, so you're only taking the negative. So say someone gives you feedback and they say, you know, you did a really good piece of work the other day, I loved your essay, but there was just a couple of full stops missing. You would go, oh my god, that essay was awful, I didn't do any of my full stops, and there was just no point. It was just awful. And not take any positive and just completely focus on the negative, which you could obviously will bring you down, definitely. And there's generalising and there's mind reading. So they're the last couple. So like you can see, hopefully I didn't say them too fast, but there are different thinking patterns that have positive and negative effect. So see if you know, when you're going about your day tomorrow, to think, did I think of any ways in a certain manner that maybe wasn't helpful or healthy for my self-esteem, and just note them down, because I think it's really useful to think, what am I kind of doing, what am I thinking throughout my day, because a lot of the times you won't notice because they are automatic thoughts. But if you can kind of stop and think, well, I've just said that, I've just thought that, make a note of it and think, which of these different thinking patterns was it? From your different thinking patterns, you can have different behaviours and different attributes to yourself, which you may or may not agree with. You may see and think, oh god, yes, that's me. So I'll go through that little list. So there is self-defeating behaviours, so always just knocking yourself down, not even bothering, or purposely doing stuff that will kind of get you that you will be defeated and there's no point in doing it, because you're just proving yourself right that you cannot do everything. There's also perfectionism, which I think I can relate to, and it's just kind of always trying to be best at everything, and failure is not an option, and if you do fail, it makes your world crumble, and it's exhausting, and it's just a behaviour that you don't really like, because it can be positive but it can be really negative as well. There's also being assertive, so if you do have high self-esteem level, like I said, you can be assertive and you can get what you want, but in a positive way, because you are confident in your own behaviours and thoughts and feelings. There's also pessimistic thinking. I think we all know some of them people who say they're being realistic, but it's kind of being pessimistic, and pessimistic means negative, so, well, everyone around here doesn't bother doing their work, and you'll never get them to change. No one should have an opportunity to change because they can't change, and kind of just seeing the negative in everything. And then resilience. So if you do have self-esteem, you will be resilient, and you will be able to take what people say, and you will be able to take people's opinions and take it on board and learn from it, because you are confident enough in yourself and your abilities, your values, thoughts and feelings to take it on board and work with it, and it makes you a better person because you keep just constantly learning from that. So different ways that you can improve your self-esteem. Like I said at the start of the video, I said this was about confidence and assertiveness, so you can take assertiveness training, so be more confident in how you are with other people and yourself, because assertiveness is being controlling yourself as well, and saying, right, for example, if you did want to lose weight, I will go to the gym today, and just not letting your inner thoughts override that. There's also confidence classes, which I don't know how common they are. I haven't actually seen about confidence classes, but maybe that's something that is, if they're not happening, someone could start up, because I think that's definitely something that we can all learn from, is being more confident, and not in a cocky way, just confident in your own abilities. There's also resilience training, positive thinking. So I have spoke about positive thinking before, and I am doing a video, probably next week I will upload it, of my book recommendations of positive thinking books, of I think I've got about over 10 now. And last but not least is the working on your values and your negative automatic thoughts. So what values are important to me, and also why the thoughts there in the first place. So I'm sorry that video is a bit all over the place. Like I said, I wanted to get it right, and I wanted to make it make sense and be easy to understand without a load of gobbledygook. But yes, thank you for watching, and please like and subscribe. I will see you soon. Bye.